Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Flock's Nest Sports Podcast. As always, I am one of your hosts, Dallas, reppin' 52, Ray Lewis of the Baltimore Ravens.
On the other hand, Brendan, always repping 54, Bobby Wagner of the Seattle Seahawks.
We got a pretty awesome episode for you guys today. With the Ravens on bye, I'm just going to talk my games of the week, but I'm also going to get into tiers. We're going to talk WNBA. Of course, we're going to talk the Seahawks. We're going to talk college football, breaking news, all kinds of fun stuff. So stay with us and enjoy.
Yeah.
Brendan, you want to kick us off with breaking news?
Yeah.
One weird development in college football.
Really, really strange. Really interesting. Bill Belichick has agreed to take the University of North Carolina coaching job. At this point, we are now waiting for the University of North Carolina to agree to Belichick's terms. That does include a 400-page. This is how it's going to get done.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. Like everything he wanted, who he wanted hired, how it was all going to go,
Yeah.
what his job was going to be. He was going to let someone else deal with NIL. It was
But I also that's what you get for
I
going
mean,
after Bill Belichick.
that's fair. That's fair. Like,
we saw with the Patriots, he is a control freak.
well, and I guess he hasn't heard from any teams to set up interviews.
I think this does really work out for him. His son, I think, is getting the best end of the deal if UNC agrees, because he is the coach to be.
Yeah.
However you want to, the heir to the throne after it's done. So, he has agreed to take the job. UNC is probably going to just say yes. I don't think you offer him the job and then go, well, you want it done this way.
We're not willing. Yeah, we're not willing to do
this.
I mean,
I don't know how extensive.
I probably wouldn't do it.
But at this point, you've offered him the job.
Yeah, like you knew what was gonna happen. Like,
and you're going after Bill Belichick. This
just
kind of comes with the territory.
I just want to know. Okay, I get his list of demands, like hostage situation, but what is genuinely in this for him? Like, I get that he's a coach and he's been a coach a long time, and you probably enjoy coaching football. But why? You're doing really well on TV. People like you again.
Yeah.
You have, like, does your girlfriend need college classes? Bro, you could probably just afford to pay for that. Like, I just don't understand what's in this for Bill. We're all thinking it, man.
You had to go there. She's not quite that young.
She's 24.
That's technically graduating college. Unless you're going
There are master's degrees. There are all kinds of things.
Unless you're going PhD. Masters.
And that shit's expensive. But he could just afford that.
He could. He could.
So I'm not trying to make light of the situation. I'm just confused. If you wanted to return to the NFL because you were chasing Don Shula's record, right? That I get. If you want to prove you go out on a win, it's not just Brady. That I get. But what the fuck is in it for you to coach college football where your main job is to recruit, which you've decided you're not going to do, and mentor young men, which has not really been your strong suit?
Yeah, I kind of think this is more of him. I don't know if he got job offers from the NFL. If this is I need to be coaching again to get job offers, because it did not go well in New England to end his career. Yeah. So maybe that is the plan. I think that is the only logical explanation. Is you didn't get job offers in the NFL. You got a job offer in college. You're going to take it.
So fuck it.
But you're also Bill Belichick. I feel like that's not something
Yeah, like
you would have to do.
I just don't
That's
understand. But you do you, man. Look,
that that's something like
who am I to question your life decisions? Fuck.
Doug Peterson or Matt Eberflus
Yeah,
who get fired.
like, and like, okay, Bill quit or was, he moved on.
But he
But I
was
just,
fired.
yeah, like we all know.
It was the same with Carroll. They were
But like
fired
we,
in the nicest way possible.
I just don't. I struggle to see the benefit for him, and I don't know. And okay, maybe you prove that you're not the same Bill Belichick. That list of demands says otherwise. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It proves the opposite. Like, what the fuck has Matt Patricia done for anybody ever? Like, stop hiring him.
And yet, at the same time, from my understanding, is a lot of what he did was this is how I want to run things, stay out of my way.
Yeah.
It was less of a
And
demand and more of a this is the plan. So he's going in with a plan. Which that's something I guess.
it's something.
But um, it's just an interesting from both sides.
Yeah.
Um UNC going big for some reason.
Trying. Trying.
Even though they're really just not a team that or not a college that is like football dominated. So
Yeah.
it's a choice. It's a choice.
Apparently they would like to be.
Stick to basketball. That's all I'm gonna say. Stick to basketball.
I don't know, Brennan, because Bill Belichick's gonna fix it. Bill Belichick's gonna turn this college football program around.
We will see.
You do, I can't help but wonder how much it will impact, like, booster money and things like that. You know what I mean?
Oh, I think you'll see
Like, because it's Bill Belichick,
it.
and now
I
your ability to recruit
I think it'll have a.
comes.
I don't want to say. I think no one's gonna match what Prime has done,
No,
but I
God
think
no.
it'll have a very similar effect.
Similar effect.
I think Prime is just so perfect for the college game. Like his mentality and what he
Yeah.
does. I think it just works so well for college. Um,
Well, and I think Prime has
and his
Prime has the
recruiting.
ability Prime has the ability to relate with, connect, and bond with young players. Belichick hasn't had that for the better part of a decade.
Yeah.
So,
So yeah, I think
I don't know.
it's a choice.
What's choice?
But
Choices were made. It'll be
um,
interesting.
you know,
I mean, you do you, man.
it adds to the intrigue of college football for the next couple of years, which I'm all for.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, sticking with college football, the final playoff bracket was announced.
It
Brendan,
was.
do you
It
want to
was.
take us through that and kind of what your initial thoughts were?
I would love to. I just don't have it up currently because
Okay.
I was unexpected.
We weren't
Okay.
prepared for this, so that's fair.
Yeah.
I kind of
All right. So yeah, we got the bracket. It has been confirmed. The thing is set. So obviously, this past weekend, we had conference championships, I should say, that really decided who's going, who's not. So it went pretty much as expected, with Oregon winning the Big Ten over Penn State. So they're in. Penn State is also going to be in. But Oregon gets a first round bye. Georgia wins the SEC championship over Texas, so they get the first round bye. Boise State wins the Mountain West over. Don't remember who they played now, but they weren't ever going to lose.
okay.
So they get the first round bye, and then Arizona State is kind of the surprise out of the Big 12, beating Uh, Indiana. No, can't remember who they beat now. But they make it through. Um, some really interesting things. So for those four, Arizona State, Oregon, Boise State, and Georgia all get first round byes. And then as follows, Texas is the fifth ranked team in the nation. Obviously lost the SEC to Georgia, so they're the highest non-bye team. They're going against 12th Clemson, who's the last team in. Clemson did lose or did win their ACC championship over SMU, but because they were lower ranked than Arizona State heading into it, Arizona State gets the bye. And then
And Arizona State played Iowa.
Iowa, yes, Iowa State. And then for the other one, the sixth ranked team in the nation is Penn State. They will be taking on SMU, who is the 11th ranked. Winner of that would play Boise State. The winner of Texas Clemson would play Arizona State. Then we have the seventh ranked team in the nation is Notre Dame taking on the 10th in the nation, Indiana. That should be a fun one. Both Indiana teams, kind of a rivalry game there in a way. Winner of that game would take on Georgia. And then we have Ohio State, Tennessee as the 8th and ninth ranked teams. Winner of that takes on Oregon. So, pretty standard bracket, but this is new to everybody in the college football realm. So, this is the first time we'll see the 12-team bracket with the new bye system and with how they're doing it. So that could be fun to watch. Some interesting matchups coming up. With the possibility of Texas and Georgia meeting again in the championship would be kind of interesting. You obviously have Penn State, Oregon, who's the number one team in the nation, gets the bye. They would have to face Ohio State or Tennessee. Ohio State did give Oregon their biggest challenge of the year earlier in the season. So, we'll really see. And then Boise State is riding off the back of one of the Heisman finalists, Ashton Genty. So, some interesting matchups to come, and we'll kind of see where.
I watched the conference championship games, and I intend to watch the playoffs. I am confused as to why they don't reseed,
What do you mean?
and I think they should.
I don't. What do you mean?
Because so after their first round, they don't play the next lowest ranked team like they do in the NFL. You just play the winner of a specific matchup. Like in the NFL, after every round, you like the 1 seed will play the 7th seed, and then you know what I mean. Like
Oh,
you constantly play, and in college they're just like, oh, you play this matchup, you play this match. It doesn't matter,
so
and
technically
that
they
is
do.
crazy to me.
So technically, the way it's set up is it's the top ranked team. So Oregon plays the winner of possibly the two worst. So like 8 and 9 is the lowest matchup against each other. And then number 4, Arizona State plays the winner of 5 and 12. So if it goes to plan, really you would have each rank playing a worse like higher rank playing the worst opponent,
You play the worst
toss
opponent of
opponent.
a matchup, but not the worst opponent still available necessarily.
No, it would be if
And
every matchup goes to plan. So if Texas wins as they're supposed to, if Ohio State wins as they're supposed to, as Penn State wins as they're supposed to, and as Notre Dame wins as they're supposed to, the lowest ranked would still play the highest ranked.
cool. Sports rarely go according to plan.
I don't disagree, but it does still
So
set
in
you
that
up.
event, like it's crazy to me that they don't. That it's just this is who you play no matter what happens.
I don't know. It makes it so that I don't know why they do it, but that's how they're doing it.
No, I'm just chiming in with the little information I can bring to the
Because
conversation.
I do realize you are correct, and that is weird.
Yeah,
But I'm not 100% sure that's how they're doing it. That's just how it looks
I
on
am.
the. Okay.
College football comes up a lot in the podcasts and shows that I watch, and this has been a
The ones I watch about.
long conversation.
Ah,
Is
yeah.
that there's
Yeah.
potential for Georgia to get fucked on their path. Like they play a pretty tough schedule.
I mean, like, I just don't think that argument works because I feel like no matter what, any team gets screwed. Like,
Yeah, but kind of. So here's my thing, I guess. Here would be my argument, I guess, in proponent is what's the point then of fighting for the number one seed other than the bye? But then if you get the bye, potentially you're playing a harder opponent based off a certain amount. You know what I mean? Because they don't reseed. Like, what's the point? What's the benefit to you as an elite program to try and achieve that?
uh, I don't know. I will say being ranked number one does make you significantly more money. They
Okay.
are paid by their ranking.
Okay. I did not know that. So see, I'm getting information
So
here.
financially, like the NCAA pays you by your
So there
ranking.
is a financial benefit.
Yes. So
Okay.
Oregon is getting paid significantly more than anyone else. And then Georgia's next, and so on and so forth. Um,
Gotcha.
so that is part of it. It is definitely interesting because you do mention it. Okay, if upsets happen, so if like technically Arizona State has the easiest schedule if every upset happens because they would play 12, 9, and 11
Yeah.
on their way. If everything goes to plan, Georgia would play 7, 3, and 1. And they're the 2 seed. If Oregon, the 1 seed, if everything goes to plan, would play the 8, the 4, and the 2. So it does kind of.
So all I'm saying is reseed.
Yeah.
Like that's
But it's also college football.
no, and they're different entities. And the point college football,
And
I feel
rankings.
like is so the NFL is an entertainment business, obviously. Its goal is to make money.
Yes.
But it is about the sport. I feel like college football is more about the entertainment.
Yeah. College football. So the seeding of college football is also stupid. Okay. Because you have SMU at 11.
Yeah.
SMU just lost to Clemson, who's at 12.
Yeah.
So who are you really saying is the better team of those two?
Because I think it's weird in general that a group of people decides the playoffs. Now I get it because college teams can like decide their own schedule and who they're playing and all these other things. But I think it's weird.
There's that, and there's also just there's like 150 teams.
Yeah.
There are
So like
teams
I
that are going to go 10-0 or however many win zero
that
losses
don't
that play
stupid teams.
nobody
I
the
think
whole
it should be
season.
like this weird equation. I don't even know if you do. I'm sure you can. I mean, there are equations out there that prove a multi-dimension. So I'm sure you can come up with one to kind of eliminate that in terms of like strength of schedule and things like that.
You can, I think,
But like college football is just its own monster. So I try not to be
and
supremely critical.
this is also the first time they're doing this, so
Yeah.
you know
and that's why I'm not like up in arms about it. I just think,
I think
hey,
this will.
maybe next year
I think this will
reseed.
probably end up changing depending on how it goes. I think you'll definitely see reseeds if Clemson beats Texas and Arizona gets to just play Clemson,
Yeah,
or if, like, I don't know, if then Oregon loses to to Ohio State, but Clemson made it through,
yeah.
then I think you'll see people annoyed at how they did it.
So
But
yeah, I'm not up in arms about it. I'm not. I don't have enough invested in college football to like, but it's just a recommendation I would have
I
moving
think
forward.
I do think they will probably change it going forward. This is a trial run, if I had to
Yeah,
guess.
like you said,
Um,
like it's new, it's different. We're 12-team playoff, two teams have the first round bye.
yeah, 4 teams by
We're
like
seeing what happens. Like
we've jumped from having a 4 team playoff
to
to
12.
a 12 in a
Yeah,
year. Um, and to be honest, for the change from 4 to 12 was more recent than the change from 2 to 4 was essentially.
okay.
Like 2 to 4 happened not that long ago. So at this point, college football
Yeah,
is rapidly kind of changing how they do playoffs and how they do their thing because it
yeah,
was 2 teams, the top 2 teams played each other, and that's how it was for a while. And then they changed it to 4, and now they're on 12. So
we didn't want to make us stop at 8.
apparently not. Apparently not.
I mean, when 4 teams get a bye, though, it's basically 8.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, yeah.
4 teams get a shot that maybe wouldn't have earlier, but
I think they really did this to base it off of the NFL's system, just to make it
which is
easier.
7. 8 would have made more sense.
No,
7
14.
teams.
Oh yeah, because only 2 get a bye.
Yeah.
I thought. Yeah, no.
So I guess it's 14 total.
Yeah, I forget
Because yeah,
that
only one gets a
only
bye.
one. That's stupid. But yeah. So
I think it's weird that 2 teams get it. Like, what the fuck did the second scene earn? Fuck you, go play a game.
see, they do it because of the conferences. Really, it's to promote winning your conference. Is
And
why
that's
they
fair.
have the 14 bye.
But
It's
yeah,
because
I
it's
just
the winner of the so it's like the top ranked winner of the conference gets a bye, but the way they do it is stupid because it's like the rank going into the conference championship. If you then win it, you get the bye. It's
yeah.
not based off like the Power Five conferences or like the top conferences,
Yeah.
which is why Boise State gets a bye, even though Boise State is in a lesser conference than pretty much anybody else.
Yeah.
The Mountain West sucks as a conference. It's just a fact.
All right. Well, you kind of mentioned it. Do you want to talk Heisman finalists?
Yeah,
We'll
so
stick with college
we
football.
got the 4 finalists for the Heisman. Dylan Gabriel, quarterback out of Oregon. Travis Hunter, wide receiver corner out of Colorado. Ashton Genty, running back out of Boise State, and then Cam Ward, quarterback out of Miami. Had anything wrong for a second. Those are the 4. In my opinion, it's really only like a 2-person race. You can kind of
If
just
you
forget about
had
the.
a vote, who'd you vote for?
So I'm obviously just getting rid of the quarterbacks. They don't
Okay.
matter. um, sorry guys, but when Ashton Genty and Travis Hunter are doing what they're doing, you kind of just get
Yeah.
you're there out of pity because they have to have 4. Um, who would I go for? See, originally, I think I'm gonna go Ashton Genty, and there are some caveats to it. Obviously, you're about to break Barry Sanders' record for rushing yards, which he's not gonna break it legitimately. I didn't realize this. Barry Sanders did it in 11 games. Set the record as it is in 11 games. Ashton Denty's going to need like 15 to break it. So not necessarily a legitimate record breaking, but also it's taken this long for someone to do it.
I
So
feel that way about Saquon right now. That's a side note, but I feel that way about Saquon.
like it's taken a long time for someone to do it. So I think like it kind of
Yeah,
balances the scales. And we've been playing longer college football for whatever. I think that to me, and the fact that he's carried Boise State to the playoffs, to me, he's more deserving of the Heisman. But if you were to ask me who the better like overall football player is, I would probably say Travis Hunter. But this is a single season award. This is like
yeah,
what you do in season. It's the MVP of college football. So to me, the most deserving is Ashton Genty.
that's fair
It's a hard one though because I think there's arguments to be made both sides.
for both. Yeah,
But I don't get a vote, so
that's okay. We'll just play our game here in our little corner of the internet.
yeah,
All right, well, let's kick into the NFL. Brennan, do you want to talk Seahawks versus Cardinals?
yeah. So Seahawks get a big road win over the Cardinals, 30-18 final score. I think this was the most complete game Seattle has played this year. In all facets of the game, on all three levels, from special teams to offense to defense, I think this was the most just complete game the Seahawks played, and I think it kind of reflects in the score and how dominant they were. Starting with the offense, not a whole lot to say. Kind of thought the offense found more of a groove in this game than they had in any game prior. Other than I think the really in any game prior, the offense put up 30 points. Geno Smith really just game managed. He didn't do anything spectacular, but he also didn't do anything stupid. So you
Yeah,
can't really complain with that. Zero turnovers, one touchdown, 230 something yards passing. Just a really solid, not spectacular game, which is all the Seahawks needed. Is they needed Geno to not turn the ball over and for him to make plays when they needed it, and that's what he did. Um, JSN had a good game. Charbonnet had a good game. The offensive line had possibly their best game of the season. Um, you know, they could actually run the ball today, or not today, Sunday against the Cardinals. They also allowed 0 sacks, which is the first time I think this season they've done that. So that was big. Gino had plenty of time to get going, and we kind of seen it. Onto JSN, like I said, had a good game. Went 5 for 5, 86 yards and a touchdown. Pretty just solid. Nothing spectacular. Nothing bad. Metcalf was Metcalf. Um, on here, I say JSN might be wide receiver one. And I think that's true. I think we're starting to see JSN be more of the like Jamar Chase to like a T, and Metcalf be more like a T Higgins, where Metcalf is more of the complementary piece to a much more skilled, complete wide receiver. I think Metcalf is very good at what he does, but he's not a complete guy. He can't run the routes JSN can. He can't get open the way JSN can. But I also think DK Metcalf is possibly the most important piece of this offense, which is why I'm like, Jason's a wide receiver 1, but I don't really think it's a weird 1A.
Yeah,
Because I think without DK in this offense is terrible.
that's fair.
Because I was watching it. The Cardinals made a conscious effort every play. Because I ended up watching more of the like extended replay and a lot of like the 22s and stuff. The Cardinals were sending more help to DK side. A lot of time with Buda Baker. A lot of time with a linebacker. They were really trying to keep the ball out of DK's hands, and it left Njigba more open. And I think we're kind of seeing that all together with more games. We kind of saw without Metcalf in the offense, this offense kind of was stale. And I just think we're seeing a lot of teams focus on Metcalf because of what he can do explosively. So JSN eats a lot of the like shorter, less
Yeah,
explosive, but just gets consistent 5 to 8 receptions a game. Whereas Metcalf might get like 4, but they're big receptions at big moments in the game when it matters the most. And that's kind of what we saw was when they needed a huge moments, they tended to focus more on Metcalf and tried to hit Metcalf. But in the flow of the game, I think JSN is just a more complete receiver,
yeah,
which is really great. I love the like complementary aspect of those two together. I think it makes for an awesome offense, and we'll see kind of where it goes from here. But that's just like kind of thing I've been noticing, especially over the past couple of weeks. Like Metcalf hasn't really had the production he normally does, but JSN's really hit a rise, and I really think it's because teams are kind of focusing more on Metcalf, leaving JSN more available. And then Charbonnet had a fantastic game with Kenneth Walker out of the lineup with a calf injury. I'll talk more about that later when we get to injury news. But Charbonnet ended up starting the game, had 134 yards on the ground with 2 touchdowns, had a 51-yard touchdown run that really opened the game up for the Seahawks. Kind of, I don't want to say sealed the deal, but that was kind of the moment that you saw the Seahawks really take over the game and just dominate from there on out. And then he also chipped in with 7 catches for 59 yards. Caught every pass he was targeted on. So just things you want to see out of your backup. So yeah, overall, pretty solid game from the offense. There was one thing. Um, I hate to say it, longtime Seahawk fan, love this guy to death, but Tyler Lockett will not be on this team next year, whether he retires or whether he's cut. I just don't see Seattle keep paying him when today or when on Sunday he put up 0 catches on 1 target. Um, that's just, I think age is kind of catching up with him,
yeah,
and we're really starting to see him fall off of a cliff with this offense. So I just don't see the Seahawks keeping him around past this year, which sucks. He's longtime Seahawk, will always be a Seahawk. Kind of hope that he just chooses to retire so that we don't have to go through Bobby Wagner 2.0 of cutting him and having this like weird
yeah.
situation. But we'll kind of see what that happens. But if I had to guess, he will not be on this roster next year. Defensively, still playing well. Still playing pretty lights out. That first drive the Cardinals had looked rough. I was watching the game. They went down and scored, and I was like, "Oh shit,
Yeah.
this might be a
I thought you were gonna have a rougher day than you did.
this is gonna be a sketchy one." And then the defense, just like that, turned it back on. Um, with an interception from Ernest Jones, drive down, get the touchdown to make it 10-7, and then the next drive, another interception on back-to-back throws from Murray from Kobe Bryant. Um, Seahawks drive down the field again, score just like that. Seahawks are in complete control of the game, 17-7. And from there, they just never really looked back. Like, the offense just kept going. The defense just played good enough. So 2 early interceptions from the defense really just got the game kind of sealed up early. But overall, defense still playing well. 2 sacks on the day, 1 to end the game. Um, so not their most sacks, not their most like QB pressure game, but they did it when it mattered. They got to him a couple times. They made Murray feel the pressure, I felt like, on that second interception thrown to Kobe Bryant. I think it was Derek Hall. Ended up getting pressure, ended up generating a holding call, forced Murray to step up and throw the ball a little earlier than he wanted to. And Bryant was able to jump in front of it to get the pick. So really good there. Even with only 2 sacks, I still felt the defensive line played fantastic. And then Tyrese Knight had 12 tackles, most on the team. Ernest Jones had like 8. I think you can really track the success this defense is having to the Ernest Jones trade and then starting Tyrese Knight and cutting Terrell Dotson. I've seen a lot of people criticizing Schneider this season. And I'm not going to say that it's unjustified. Like, his free agency was pretty well terrible. I'm just going to throw it out there. It was not a good free agency. You have 3 people that you signed in free agency still on the team. One of which is like a third string tight end. Another one is a starting left guard. And that's really about it. So, free agency wise, not great. But we've seen this front office and this coaching staff identify issues. So, with the linebacking, Jerome Baker, Terrell Dotson wasn't good enough. They go out, they get Ernest Jones, and they start a 4th-round draft pick this year in Tyrese Knight. And the defense has not looked back since. They've been playing fantastic. Those two have really solidified the middle of the field. It's been great. They identified the defensive line. The depth on the defensive line is an issue. They go out and get Roy Robertson Harris. He does not fill the stat sheet. He doesn't really do anything flashy. But he never makes a mistake either. He's never the reason something happens. He's never the problem. Which is all you can really ask for out of a depth piece on a defensive line. Someone that can just fill a role and you have no problems throwing him out there. Is he going to get you 10 sacks? No. But is he going to just be there, make plays? Yes. So I think that was a great deal for the Seahawks. And then you're starting to see on special teams. They cut Laviska Shenault before, like right after the game last week. They waived D. Williams before this game and claimed Jalen Darden off of waivers from the Browns. We go into this special teams week, special teams has no issues, 0 punts fumbled, perfect on kicks, everything perfect. Nothing wrong, no issues. So we identify problems and we deal with it by improving, which goes into Schneider. Schneider's making these decisions. He's the one signing these guys, trading for these guys, getting his coaching staff what they need to succeed. So I think we can't knock what Schneider's done this year in terms of drafting and in terms of trades just because his free agency period where he didn't have the input of the coaching staff went not his way. I think it's been kind of a ridiculous thing within Seahawks fans and within the league. I would like you to point to me a GM that has never made a mistake. Even the best ones. I would say EDC in Baltimore. Trading for Deontay Johnson might have not been the best thing on the planet.
We're going to talk about that.
That's why I brought it up. Um,
Yeah, we're gonna talk about
you know,
we're gonna talk Ravens today.
you know, him making that choice. You know, the Lions GM right now, I think he's one of the best in the league. Hasn't made the best choices in that secondary. You know, you can point to any GM and go, you fucked up
Yeah.
that. But you can also look at them and go, EDC drafted Lamar Jackson. 31 teams passed on him.
Anyway, that guy. That's gonna be
Him.
it. That's crazy.
I think that deserves a ton of credit. If you look at the Detroit GM, you drafted Aiden Hutchinson, you got Jared Goff.
Yeah.
You came in at this. I think he came in at the same time as Dan Campbell, so he doesn't really get credit for the Dan Campbell hire. But still,
Together they've done really
yeah.
great things.
So I'm like, Schneider's still one of the better GMs in the league.
Yeah.
He made a mistake. Whatever. He's more than made up for it.
I don't know
With
that he made mistakes. He made decisions with kind of limited information. Like,
like you can
it's not like he broke y'all's cap doing it. You know what I mean? There's not like a fucking Deshaun Watson contract out there.
yeah. It,
Like, you're working on getting the roster fixed.
and
I
he's
think calm
making
the fuck down if you have hate.
and you can see. I think the worst thing you can do as a GM is you made these choices and they're not working, is to be stubborn and stick with them. He said, fuck that.
Yeah.
It has essentially said they can all just go. Get
Yeah, every decision I
gone.
made, it's not working out. Get out.
And they brought in players that do work out. So just want to get that out. Been seeing too much of that lately. Onto game balls. Um, Offensively, I think only really one person can get it, and that's Zach Charbonnet. Had a absolute great game. Um, you know, with the 134 yards, the two touchdowns, just had a fantastic game with Walker out. Great to see. So yeah, and then defensively, I think Ernest Jones is going to get it for me. Had 8 tackles, 1 interception. I think he just continues to be that like steady presence in the middle of the defense. Um, kind of like a what you wanted. The perfect linebacker, that steady presence, makes plays, gets tackles, and is gets the defense ready for every snap. So gonna give it to him. Just the 2 game balls. Think both players are really deserving. Um, so yeah. And then injury news. So obviously Kenneth Walker did not play in this game with a calf ankle injury. Um, the team did come out yesterday, and it's the calf injury currently that's keeping him sidelined. Um, and it sounds like they're getting testing done, so this could be a slightly longer term injury than originally expected. This was kind of like a week to week thing. This might not be what we thought it was. Um, Hopefully, when I get more information, I will pass it on. But without Walker in the lineup, the Seahawks run game played better. So I'm not too worried. Um, I do kind of have a take. It's a take I think a lot of Seahawks fans are having currently. Kenneth Walker is not the best running back for the current system. I think we've seen the 3 games Charbonnet's played. He's had better stats, averages, than Kenneth Walker has. And that is a limited sample size. That's only 3 games starting to compare it to Kenneth Walker's. At this point, we're on what, week 15 to 12? Kenneth Walker has started 9, I believe, games, 12 games, somewhere in there, 10, something. And his stats just don't quite line up with how I feel like this team can play. And I think it's because Kenneth Walker, as a running back, is not the kind of person to trust blocks when hasn't been getting good blocks all season. We've seen the Seahawks run game couldn't block. And I will say, they were blocking significantly better against the Cardinals than they were against any other team in this league. I'm not discrediting what the offensive line did this week. But Kenneth Walker, when he has had good blocking, hasn't trusted it, hasn't been willing to accept that that's the case, and has been trying a little too hard, I feel like. Has been bouncing it too much, has been changing his attack too much. I just think Charbonnet as a running back fits this more as I'm going to trust the blocking. I'm going to trust what I see. I'll trust the hole. I'll hit it, and we'll go. And I'm not saying Charbonnet is a better running back. I'm just saying he's a better fit to what the Seahawks are currently. I still think we pay Kenneth Walker. I still think he is one of the better running backs in the league. But I don't think he fits what the Seahawks are currently doing with their blocking schemes and with how bad this offensive line has been. So kind of an unfortunate thing, but something that we're just going to have to live with right now.
Yeah.
And then last little bit of injury news. Uchenna Nwosu is off IR and ended up playing on Sunday. Very limited snaps, but did play. Was out there, so that's good. He's like really the last piece of the defense that needed to get healthy. So pretty big thing there. I really think that does it for the Seahawks. Not a whole lot more
Nice
to talk about.
Alrighty. Well, I did not have a ton of thoughts on this game. I did watch it. I thought you were in serious trouble to start, and then that pretty much went away. So I thought they played well. I think you can see the progression of this team getting better each week. At kind of these main problem points you've had all year. But that was pretty much it. That was pretty much my thought on this game. It was they're getting better. You are seeing the improvements they're making roster wise. I think you're seeing the impact of McDonald's. Sometimes it takes time for an organization to buy into a message, into a concept, and I think we're seeing that take hold.
And I kind of like what you're saying. I think we're starting to see the coaching staff finally get used to what they're doing. I think this was the best game Ryan Grubb has called as an offensive coordinator, and I think McDonald is definitely getting better as a head coach in this league. Obviously, coming off last week, and he's just been stacking coaching stuff. It's been great, been awesome, and we're getting there. And then I do have another take that's related to the Cardinals. I did kind of forget to mention it. I just don't think Kyler Murray's the guy.
No. We're going to talk about that too, actually.
Okay. Because I just think, you know what I think? He's, how do I put this? He's Josh Allen. If Josh Allen wasn't built like
terrible?
No. Kyler Murray's Josh Allen. I can't explain how I want to say this. But you're going to live and die by him. Okay? You're going to live. He's a more inconsistent Josh Allen.
Okay.
He's going to make stupid decisions with the football. He's going to throw interceptions. But you're going to win and lose games because of him. When Kyler Murray is playing his best, I do think he is a good player. But he teeters very much. And I think he teeters drive to drive from his best to his worst.
So, I think he is supremely emotional. And when he and okay, I believe Josh Allen and Lamar are both guilty of this. You can see it sometimes when they get frustrated of more mistakes happen or incompletions and things like that. But Kyler Murray hits emotional way faster and has a hard time moving on. And I think that's why you see it from drive to drive.
Yeah, no, that's really well said. And then,
But I do agree. When he plays well, it's good. I don't think it's elite, but it's good. I would say top 10.
yeah, when he's playing well, you could sneak him into an MVP conversation.
Yeah,
Like when he's
but
playing
it
his best football, he
yeah,
could be in
it's
that like
just
back
not
end,
consistent.
but he's not consistent from play to play, drive to drive, game to game.
Yeah,
That's I think he's a more inconsistent version of Josh Allen, in my opinion. Like where you'll live and die by him, but you much rather not.
yeah. No, that's fair.
So yeah, that's my last like take on the Cardinals. Is Kyler Murray is just not the guy for them.
Or I think he needs. I think Dave Canales is doing a good job as a head coach, but we talked about, and we have talked about often, and we're going to talk about it again some when I do my tiers, how important the quarterback coach combo is
Yeah,
and how they have to be able to balance, support, and challenge each other. And I do not think he's had that in any of his head coaches.
yeah.
That someone that pushes him in the way that needs to be pushed while getting the best out of him.
I the unfortunate thing is I don't think he's gonna get that out of
No.
Gannon because Gannon is a defensive coach. Um, so I just don't think that's really gonna happen. And then Kingsbury, I just don't think he was a good head coach. I don't think he was built to be.
I think he's a much better offensive coordinator.
I don't think he's built to have the responsibilities that a head coach does. And part of that
Yeah.
is the quarterback coach relationship.
Fuck does Canales coach?
Carolina.
Carolina. Okay. I'm sorry, guys. Gannon. Yeah. I don't know where I pulled Canales from.
I don't know either. I honestly thought
Whatever.
you were talking about maybe hiring him as like your OC, and I was like, he's not going to get fired.
No. No, don't do that.
Yeah,
Don't
like
do
he's
that.
not getting fired. He's turned
Um,
Bryce Young's career around somehow, and that's I think
that's been crazy.
so.
That's been
I
crazy to watch.
He has a crazy story on how he turns around quarterbacks because he was the quarterbacks coach in Seattle for Geno Smith,
Hmm.
the offensive coordinator in Tampa Bay for Baker Mayfield.
Baker.
The seasons they both came
Yeah.
back, and now
He
is
knows how to develop a quarterback. I mean, I
he's
respect it.
he's
I
crushing it.
respect it.
He's gonna be a long time NFL guy if he can continue
Yeah.
being the quarterback guru.
And I think he's proven that, like, it's kind of like what the Seahawks are doing. Like, if it's not good enough, we'll move on. I'm not going to put my job on the fucking line so you can dance around like a jackass.
Yeah,
Like,
and it seems like that benching of Bryce Young was probably the best thing that's happened to him
oh, it's working out great. Great.
because he came back and
He's played phenomenally. He's played
he's
like they held
lost.
the Eagles close.
Like
Like,
you damn near beat the Chiefs. You were close against the Eagles.
yeah.
I don't know what else more.
Like,
What more do you want from the guy?
like he's playing really well. He is playing the best football we've seen of his career to this point.
Yeah.
He
So
looks like an NFL quarterback. And I've been really critical of Bryce Young, and I think he's looking great.
yeah,
I didn't think he had this in him.
I haven't either. I kind of thought the benching was last straw.
Yeah. I thought he might get another shot just to play a couple of games or something, but to see it turn around the way it has is incredible.
Yeah, so
I think it'll be
little
interesting to see what they do next year
tangent,
after
but yeah.
a free agency and a draft. Yeah, because we're going to talk about all these teams. We're going to do it. It's a whole thing we're going to name.
You want to talk Ravens real quick? Just a little spicy news.
Sure, sure. So Baltimore Ravens were on bye this week. Um, during which they announced the suspension of wide receiver Deontay Johnson for one game against the Giants next week. That does include this entire week of practice. He is not welcome in practice this week. For refusing to go into the game against the Eagles. Here's my thing. Bye, bitch. Like, I don't know what we're doing. I'm a little confused. I didn't understand the signing to begin with. I said that when it happened.
Yeah.
I did not think wide receiver was where they were struggling at. I also think there is clear evidence that Lamar needs time with his wide receivers. To get used to them, to build a connection and a relationship with. That's just who he is. He needs that time. Since Deontay Johnson's been there, we've seen forced balls, we've seen him trip. I don't know what's happening, and now he's refusing to play. I get wanting more targets. I don't know where the fuck you thought you were going, but this is the Baltimore Ravens. They run the ball, run the ball, run the ball some more,
And throw to tight ends.
and then pass it
To
to
tight
tight
ends.
ends. Or, amazingly enough, to their running backs. like Justice Hill gets quite a few targets.
Or on the
Zay
off, I was gonna
Flowers
say on the off chance Zay Flowers is gonna get a couple.
gets like, but Mark Andrews eats. Like Derrick Henry eats. That's what this offense is. So I never understand. Like, what did you think was gonna happen? I feel like so often veteran wide receivers come into the Ravens and go, I'm gonna be the guy that makes this a passing team. Bitch, you're not. You're not. You're not the most important player on this team. The most important player on this team likes to run the ball. That's what happens. So that's what they do. I have little respect for this mentality. Like, if you don't want to be there, then go. But don't be like, I want the ball, I want opportunities, I want all of these things, and then you refuse to step up when the team
Yeah,
tells you to.
that
Like,
that
that's
to me is
insane.
the
That's
what
insane.
are we doing?
Like, Hollywood Brown had the fucking good sense to complain after he left. Like, who the fuck are you? So, I didn't love the signing. Now, I'm like, just move on. Um, Even if he's willing to come back and they're willing to do it to have him back, he's never going to get the production he wants. He's never going to get the targets he wants. At least not in an effective offense. Because I said it in their game against the Steelers. I felt like Lamar was trying to force him the ball. I'm concerned that that would continue to happen to try and avoid this situation in the future. I would rather we avoid it altogether, just move the fuck on. I have enough concerns about the Giants game. Let's not add let's not add his bitch ass to it. Okay? Okay. Other news. Practice this week, the only players that were absent were Kane and Travis Jones. I would really like confirmation on that.
Do, do, do. Pretty sure that's copyright. Can't do that.
Pretty sure you can't. So let's.
Well, I was gonna cut all the silence
Oh,
out anyway.
no, I believe that.
But yeah, I'm pretty sure the Jeopardy music is definitely copyright.
Okay. Only two players that didn't practice for parts this week were Kane, who's still out with the hamstring, and Deontay. So injury wise, doing really well. Um, Positives. I think we'll start to see hopefully TJ Tampa working his way back as well. We'll also see how much of Keaton Mitchell we'll see next week. Some interesting news. Pro Bowlers right now. The Ravens do have 4 that lead in voting, in Lamar Jackson, Kyle Hamilton, Roquan Smith, and Marlon Humphrey. All lead in Pro Bowl voting right now. I
Haven't
don't know that it will hold that way. I do think Lamar has potential, but just an interesting uh, currently based off how the season's going and how everyone's playing.
haven't even looked at Pro Bowl voting, so no
Uh,
idea where Seattle sits. I do
I'm
know I
a
did see one that Seattle had Laviska Shenault on the list, and he's no longer with the team because he was cut after fumbling twice.
and then Derrick Henry leads all of the AFC combined in voting
That's
for running backs. No one's even close.
I was like, that's not even
So,
mildly surprising.
good things there. Walter Payton Man of the Year. Roquan Smith, again, he was the nominee last year as well. I am not surprised. He does a lot for communities, not only in Baltimore, but in his hometowns. He does a lot, so I'm not surprised there. Congratulations to him. I really hope he gets it this year. I I wanted him to get it last year. Didn't quite work out that way, but I'm pulling for him.
Seattle's Walter Payton is Uchenna Nwosu. I would sure hope he would be the nominee, considering he's been hurt for so long.
Yeah. So and then just a couple things on the Ravens. Coming out of the bye, I think one, they won their bye, amazingly enough. All of the wild card teams for the AFC are 8-5. That's the Ravens, the Broncos, and the Chargers. Because the Ravens have beaten both of those teams, they currently have the 5 seed. What that means is if the playoffs were to happen tomorrow, they would play the Texans to start. I do think right now, based off how this team looks, that is their best path to the next round. I do have concerns about this team, obviously. So I think the Texans, I'm not going to call it a guaranteed win, but it is their easiest path into the second round, where, yes, then it will get significantly more complicated. And I'll have plenty of emotions about when that happens. But for right now, they did kind of win their bye week. Biggest things, I'm hoping the bye fixed. Tucker spent the entire bye in Baltimore. He stayed at the facility. He was a constant presence. Either that's a good thing, and we're getting our shit together, or we've now overthought the problem. And because the fact that it's getting worse, I'm concerned we're overthinking it. We're overdoing it. We're not letting the instincts and the things we know guide us. Rather, our fears, our concerns, every minute detail. He says he's feeling good. I know Coach Harbaugh said he talked to him multiple days. He thought he was feeling good. Positive things. But also, I know that Coach Harbaugh would not come out and be like, that guy sucks and we're going to move on. So, hopefully there. I'm also hoping Lamar had a chance to calm the hell down. Because I think there are things that this team needs to fix, obviously. I think Lamar needs to run more. I think Tucker needs to pull his head out of his damn ass. But the number one thing this team needs to fix at the end of the day is mistakes. Whether it's penalties, whether it's missed kicks, whether it's missed reads, it's mistakes. And if he's too hyped up, he will make more mistakes. He will try to do too much and put this team too much on his back. And that is not the way forward. They could very much go on a heater and win the next 4 out of 5. They have that potential, but they have to fix the mistakes. They have to play their kind of football, not this romanticized version of football they want. And that's going to be the key factors. I do think it came up. Coach Harbaugh was asked, there are so many veteran players this season that have been an issue. They've had to bench or suspend. So is the team still buying into the message? He said, yes, I do believe that. I just think there was an image for what this team could and would be, and it hasn't lived up to that. So we need to see improvement. And we are past the point of small improvements every week. We need dramatic improvements now. Um, so yeah, coming out of the bye, the key points are limit the mistakes on all 3 phases. Lamar specifically needs to run the ball a little bit more. And do not force it to any wide receiver. Let those moments come and keep the toxic energy. If you want to be a playoff team and a Super Bowl team, that's what it's going to take. I'll get into it. I think they are, and I think they can be, but the mistakes got to end.
Okay.
So, I will talk a little bit more Ravens Giants specifically during my preview video, but we did have a comment asking about key points coming out of the bye, and to me that's the big one. It's the mistakes.
Awesome.
And yeah, just release Deontay. I don't know why we're playing games.
Because we're stupid.
So,
All right.
alrighty.
All right. On to game of the week. I guess I'll just start with the Chiefs versus the Chargers. This is their second match of the season, and the Chiefs get the win this week. Of course they do, because why not? Why not? Why not? Why not mix it up a little? Chiefs do get the win, but it was 19-17. Um, they just continue to
Last second fucking field goal.
like
Last
this.
second fucking field goal.
In my notes, I just say the Chiefs do it again, and that's all you need to
Yep.
know. Is last second field goal that hits the upright and bounces in and not out. We kind of joked about this earlier. I do really now believe the Chiefs have some like dark magic on their side. There's no
It's something.
fundamental way, okay, that they're able to just win all these games and not have something. It's crazy. It's insane. The Chargers didn't even play the Chargers didn't play great. The Chiefs didn't play great. Neither team I felt deserved to win. No team played well. But the Chiefs just for some reason continue, no matter what happens, continue to somehow win. Yeah. Chiefs just continue to somehow, some way, by whatever you want to say, just manage to win games and
Yeah.
ruin everyone's lives.
Here's my problem. Okay. I understand that good teams find a way to win
But not like
and
this.
bad teams find a way to lose. But this is some next level shit. Of like, okay, the game against Denver, you knew that line was weak, you made a play. But like every little fucking thing should not always go your way.
You know, the Raiders just happened to fumble the ball
Yeah,
right then, right there. You
like
recover it. What the hell?
like it doinks the right way. Like when the fuck does that happen? Like it's too much. It's too much. And it makes me hate them more. It does. Like if I was just a Ravens fan, I was like, okay, the Chiefs are just this team we're gonna have to deal with.
If they were just
But when
good,
you keep winning games, like yeah, if you were a good team, and it's like they're not good, but they are winning anyway,
because it's like
and I hate it.
they've won all these one-score games, and you can be tracked to the start of the year, where Ravens game, Ravens
By
score
a
a last-minute touchdown by an inch. They don't get it. You then have the Bengals game in which a questionable PI call happened. You have the Broncos game where the blocked kick. You have the Raiders from the ball to you. You have the fact that you were able to get a last second touchdown or last second field goal for no reason somehow. The
yeah,
Panthers game, I think something happened to which led them to like it's stupid. Like,
it's not. It shouldn't even be real. It shouldn't even be real. And I'm
on the
pretty
bright
over
side,
it.
on the bright side, there is a stat. They are like 0-7 against the spread so far this year in some kind of thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
Um, no team has ever won the Super Bowl when they're that bad against the spread.
Well, there's some positivity, I
So,
suppose.
so you know, if history
Positivity.
continues, they hopefully won't win.
Oh,
Hopefully,
we'll
maybe.
see. We shall see.
But
Right
yeah,
now, I'm just over it. I'm just over them.
it, yeah, I hate them. It's
I my thought on the Chiefs Chargers. The Chargers really should have gone out and signed another running back. Um, after J.K. Dobbins was put on IR. Gus is great, but he is a power runner, couple of yards. He is not an explosive back, and I think that's really what the Chargers need and needed in this game. So, not having Lad McConkey, obviously that had an impact, but should go out and get a new running back.
yeah, we'll see. I don't think they will because I think they do like their rookie running back that they had playing behind him, but this was the rookie's like first game, so I mean,
We saw how that went.
yeah,
You're a playoff team. Means we have to make playoff team decisions.
yeah. Unless you just want to forego that this year, I mean that's also I guess a choice.
That's an option, I suppose.
You
It's an
know
option.
that is there if you'd like it. I think that would be not something Jim Harbaugh does, but
Look, I'm not saying they're gonna win the Super Bowl this year, but
at least try.
to be a playoff team, like you earned it. Let's go for it.
Let's try.
Yeah.
But yeah, so damn.
Cool. Yeah, well, I hate him.
Can't escape them winning no matter what we do.
Beat him.
Just a sad day. Sad day.
And I can't listen to that. I can't. I texted you some things. I'm not gonna repeat here how I felt listening to that game. But I really struggled to watch standalone Chiefs games.
I didn't watch it. I didn't. I didn't do it.
It
Couldn't do it.
was
Then I
rough.
was mad because he was then on Monday Night Football with the Mannings. I was just not happy.
Oh,
Just not.
I went to bed.
I watched it for the
That,
last 2 minutes. Don't
oh,
regret it for a second, other than the fact that it was, of course, him with the Mannings. It's
yeah.
not thrilled.
That's fair.
And then he fucking calls the end of the game. I was so pissed. So pissed. Perfectly. You know how they do the perfect prediction
Yeah.
board? I mean, he says it. He's like,
Here's
Jamar Chase touchdown for the win. 3 plays later, Jamar Chase touchdown. And I'm like, can't argue with that, I guess.
yeah.
But whatever.
Alrighty. Well, one of my games of the week was Packers at Lions. Packers did lose 31-34, with a very interesting play call decision. Uh, it
Yeah.
was 4th and 1, 38 seconds left. Dan Campbell, being Dan Campbell, decided to go for it. Did get the 4th down. I want to be very clear, he was not down.
Yeah.
He was down by college rules,
Not
but in the
NFL rules.
NFL, an opposing player has to touch you. That did not happen.
Jared Goff was not giving himself up.
Yeah,
That is one thing.
he slipped.
A quarterback can technically give himself up, and that would put, but
That
he
was
was
not
not.
that. He stayed in motion. He stayed upright.
He was tripped by his offensive lineman.
Like,
He was not
yeah.
giving himself up. He was not downed by a
So
defensive team. He was completely
it was,
fine.
yeah. He was
There
not
were
down.
other calls in that game. I can understand Packers fans being a little mad at.
This was not one of them.
This was not one of them.
And then ran the clock down, kicked the last second field goal for the win. The whole point of this was to kind of get a feel for the Packers.
Yeah.
Because I didn't really have that. They are a good team. On the edge of great.
The Lions are great.
They are not
and
great yet.
that was the difference.
Yeah. And I think genuinely people want to keep talking about Love's numbers from last year to this year and how they progress throughout the season.
I think this
For
season's a little
me,
different because of his injury. I
I
he
think
came
that's
back a
part of
little
it.
too early.
I think that's part of it. I think the other part is this whole team is still very young.
And growing.
They are growing. And LaFleur is growing as well. They are doing great things, and I think they will be a great team in the NFC. Right now, I think they're the little brother of the NFC. There's potential, there's a lot of talent. We're not quite there yet.
But if they put it all together, they're gonna be scary.
No, the moment they put it together, I think hell, even one more year, just with experience, with a little time, couple more pieces, I think they will be a great team and they will be an absolute contender in the NFC. I just think right now they're just I don't even want to say pieces. They're just a couple steps away.
Yeah.
You know, we talked about with the Seahawks. It takes time to really hone in the message and to be executing at that level. the Dan Campbell and Jared Goff did not get to the Lions and then become a playoff team. It took them years to build a winning record, to win playoff games. I just think that's where the Packers are right now. I think they could have taken a step forward this year. Like you said though, I think Love's injuries, I think he came back a little too soon. I think that kind of forced them to take a step back. So
Yeah.
the step forward they took was back to where they were last year.
Yeah.
I think next year they have the potential to take a
And
real step forward.
obviously, I will be paying more attention to the Packers this upcoming week as the Seahawks play them.
Yeah,
Um, I think this will be a good test for the Seahawks. We'll talk about that more later, but
I agree. I agree.
it should be
Um,
fun.
Lions are a great team. Lions are
Yeah.
a great team. I I think they're currently my favorite NFC team. Um,
Well, other than the Seahawks, yeah.
I,
For
I
me,
don't give a rat's ass about
well,
the
I'm
Seahawks.
saying for me, other than the Seahawks, yes.
I don't give a rat's ass about the
but
Seahawks.
yeah,
For me, the Lions are there.
the
I
Lions
have
are.
concerns about the Lions, and we're going to talk about that and their ability to win a Super Bowl right now. Um, but I do think they're a good team. I do think they're a great team. There's a lot of potential here, and I just do. I just think the Packers are just one or two steps behind, and that's okay. That's okay.
Yeah,
They're a good to great team, and they will get there. And you see it in the coaching, in the players. I genuinely think Love's injuries were kind of the deterrent this year.
yeah. I think it definitely set them back a little
Yeah.
bit. But it's just kind of wait and see what happens in the playoffs. Like anything can happen, but we'll just kind of see.
And then quickly, Saints at Giants. Saints won 14-11. It was a travesty of a game. It was
It
a
was-
train wreck. It was not worth anybody's time, energy, or effort. And that's pretty much how I feel about that.
yeah, that's
I will talk a little more Saints Giants when I do my tiers, which I believe is coming up, but that was pretty much that. Oh, Derek Carr, unfortunately, sadly, did break or fractured his left hand, probably out for the season. Not that it mattered.
yeah. In all honesty,
Wasn't a good game.
they're done, so it doesn't really matter.
Wasn't didn't
I think it's still sad that they could have won their
didn't enjoy
division.
that.
I'm pretty sure, mathematically.
I think mathematically. So
Um,
yeah,
so
train wreck. It was unfortunate.
that division's just a sad sack
It's
of
not good.
shit.
Here's the thing. I really think Tampa was so close,
I forgot Tampa was in that division.
and they're going to win it. They got a little fucked up.
Yeah, it's division's just a sad sack of shit. Other than Tampa Bay, and even them,
Yeah,
it's a sad team
not
right
going
now.
great. They were playing really
Injuries,
well, and then losing Evans and Godwin.
yeah, injuries have not treated teams
No,
well,
no.
but it is what it is. They will still make the playoffs because their division is terrible,
Yeah.
and the only team that might catch them is probably going to make a quarterback change at some point, or they should. Atlanta.
Oh,
He's playing.
I know. I
Oh,
know. We're gonna talk about it. We're gonna talk about it.
are we?
Let's get on to my tiers.
Are we going to talk about it?
We
What if
are
I
gonna
just
talk
said
about
no? What if I said no?
it. Well, I don't know. I don't have a response to that. All right, let's do my tiers so we can kind of talk about
Yeah.
some of these other teams.
Yeah.
So, just so everyone's clear, this is your ability to win a Super Bowl right now.
Yeah.
What I think of this team right now. We are going to start top down.
Okay.
Go from there. Actual contenders as annoyed as I am, and as much as I hate them, Kansas City. Whether it's luck, whether it's talent, whether it's dark voodoo magic, I don't fucking know. Regardless, they're a Super Bowl contender. Someone is yet to actively beat them in the AFC to make me think they're not. So, hate you, wish you wouldn't, wish they'd go away. You are an actual contender. I am also putting the Pittsburgh Steelers in this category. I don't think Pittsburgh is like an A plus great team. But when I look at how the AFC is playing football right now and the playoffs, I do think there's a chance Pittsburgh's in the AFC Championship, making a vie for the Super Bowl.
I feel like Pittsburgh's just a very consistent team.
Yeah. And they always balance each other out. If the offense struggles, the defense picks them up.
Yeah.
Special teams is always consistent. It's like you said, it's a consistent football team.
Yeah.
I do have the Baltimore Ravens as an actual contender. Yes, they have some problems that they're working on. Yes, I think if the next 2 weeks I don't see improvement, they drop a tier. I'm just not ready to do that yet. They have the players, they have the playmakers. They just kind of got to put some of the pieces together to be playing more consistent football. We've seen the best versions of all three phases, and those three phases are contenders. They've just got to be playing more consistent. The Detroit Lions are an actual contender. I do have concerns about their secondary and their defense. We see this a lot with the Steelers. When you play that hard that often, injuries typically mount. And it hurts you in the playoffs. That is a lot of times, other than the quarterback, been a big problem for the Steelers. And I think, unfortunately, we are seeing it with the Lions right now. Do think, though, any NFC team is going to have a hard time contending with them.
Yeah.
The Philadelphia Eagles, an actual contender. I think this team has real problems, specifically at quarterback. I do not think Jalen Hurts. I think Jalen is one of the worst quarterbacks in this category in terms of pure talent. I think we see it with his inability to throw the ball and how he reads the field, which has been one of my main kind of criticism of Jalen. I'm not trying to over criticize him, but when you are not the best player on your team as the quarterback, I'm allowed to have concerns. And then finally, the Minnesota Vikings are doing incredible things. I don't know that they would beat either the Lions or the Eagles for the NFC Championship, but I do think they're playing really good football right now all around. Offensively and defensively, when they put it together, they're a hard team to stop. Back to my point, though, I don't know if the quarterback isn't the best player on the team, if you can kind of get to that next level. But I do think while the Eagles have the advantage at quarterback, the Vikings have the advantage at coach.
Yeah.
So, potentially.
We're just going to really quickly want to jump in. Sure you're not leaving a team off of there? Sure you're not? Sure you're not leaving a team? Sure.
I'm pretty sure.
So
I'm pretty sure I have those teams in other categories.
But you sure you want to do that? Okay. I'll let you do it.
Yep, I'm pretty fucking confident.
Okay. You make that choice.
All right. Next category.
I don't condone what she's doing, by the way, for anyone wondering. We're gonna get there. I don't know how you don't fucking condone it after this past week.
Because this past week, I was going to move him. I swear to God, I was going to move him. And then this past week happened.
That's
And I went,
fair.
that right there proves my fucking point.
To be fair, that's kind of true, but also, yeah, I still think.
We're going to get there. We're going to get there. We can duke it out then.
All right.
Next category. So close, yet so far away. These teams all have a giant red flag problem. Miami Dolphins. Can't play in the cold. It's a problem. It's a legit problem. It's a winter sport. It's an outdoor sport. You gotta figure it the fuck out. Like, you gotta do something. I don't know what. I don't know how. That's not my job. My job is to tell you that is your problem. They're playing well since Tua has gotten back from injury. They're playing better. We're seeing what this team kind of was last year. It's not going to matter if you can't play in the cold. Glaring problem.
Yeah, no, that's.
LA Rams. Glaring issue is the injuries. They are a good team. They have a great quarterback, a great head coach, good weapons. But when their injuries decimate them, they destroy them. And it puts them in this hole that becomes really hard to climb out of, which is what we're seeing right now. Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They're another one. I think they're a good team. I think they're a little limited offensively. I think they need upgrades at the line. But when they are hurt, they are decimated. They are in a weak division. They should run away with it every year, and they struggle to do so. I don't know. I know I've heard some theories about changing it, how the coaches, stuff like that. I'm not sure that's the answer, but a change does need to be made. Green Bay Packers, like I said, on the edge of greatness. Really good team, just needs a little more time. I think they would have taken a step forward this year. Love's injury, I really do think, set him back. But I think they're there. The Texans. I know everyone watched what they did last year, what CJ Stroud did last year, and he had really high expectations going into this year. He is a sophomore quarterback. His wide receivers have been hurt a lot, and his O-line is garbage.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's garbage. Still managed to win his division. So
It's a shitty division, but yeah.
it is a shitty division, but I'm still like,
You still
he's
won it.
winning his division better than the Bucks are winning their division. So
Yeah. No, it's.
I give him credit there. I think a couple more pieces, you strengthen that line. They're a contending team. I just don't think they're there this year. Seattle Seahawks. Good team, but they're rebuilding. New head coach. We're making changes based off your offseason acquisitions, all those things. Good team. A lot of progress being made. Brendan talks about it a lot. I just don't quite think they're a Super Bowl team yet. I do think you can clearly see the message. And as a fan, it's easy to buy in. And I think they will get there. They're just not there this year.
I would agree with that.
Next
yes.
category. Rebuilding. Arizona Cardinals in this category. Still have a new head coach in Gannon. I think they're too many pieces away to be close. The defense really needs some work. Like we've said, I'm not sure Kyler Murray is the guy. There's a lot of talent on this team, so I don't have them lower. They need more than one or two pieces. They need more than just a little help. Denver Broncos, rookie quarterback, coach that's been there 2 years. They're playing really well. They are clearly lacking in talent compared to some of the teams they play. Like, you can tell the scheme is there, you can tell the message is there, but they're lacking in talent. Washington Commanders are kind of like the Packers' younger brother. I think a lot of potential, a lot of talent, very, very young. Rookie quarterback, rebuilding. Atlanta Falcons have talent. I think they need upgrades at defense and need to make a change at quarterback. Kirk Cousins is not playing well. I get it. He's coming off the ACL or the Achilles. We like the guy. We're paying him a lot of money. I understand all of that. Let him be a backup. Penix had his time to sit. Let's move on. This is why you drafted Penix. Was quite literally for this situation.
Yeah, and it's not going
It's
well.
happened. It's happening. Put in Penix these last couple games. Let him get some reps. Let him be your future. And I think this team has a lot. It has so much talent. I am concerned about how we use some of our weapons, or really lack thereof. But that's a different conversation for another day. Patriots. I had them below rebuilding in the last category because they weren't really going to start Drake May. They had too many issues. But that kid is playing out of his mind. He's clearly very talented. He's willing this team to as much as it can. Is not very talented roster wise. They obviously need to upgrade.
Yeah.
But Drake May is willing this team to be better than Schmidt.
The Patriots are the definition of a rebuilding team.
Yeah. LA Chargers. Good team. Could be great. Not sure that we're intent on winning a playoff game this year. Not sure that's the goal. I think the goal was to change the message, change the culture, and change the play style, and that was it. And that's what they've done. And they've done it very well, but not convinced we're really trying to win a playoff game. Colts. Anthony Richardson is playing better since he's been benched. I'm still not convinced he's the guy, but it has been better.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of putting him in that same category. Tennessee Titans. There's not a whole ton to say. I think they have talent on their roster offensively and defensively. I think there are major questions about Will Levis. So I have them in rebuilding. I'm not giving up just yet, but that's where we're at. And finally, Carolina Panthers. Bryce Young is playing his best football by far. This team is not very talented around him, and what he's willing them to do is pretty impressive. So I think another draft free agency cycle, get some more talent around him, get some weapons, bolster his O-line a bit, bolster the defense. We'll see the best version of Bryce Young. Next category. Effed to all hell. If you're confused, please refer to the name of this tier. Saints. New Orleans Saints. That's what they are. They're F to all hell. You have an injured quarterback. Again, it's like the third time this year. You're in cap hell. You fired a head coach. Like, what's the plan? Don't think you have one. New York Giants. You're using your third string quarterback because your second string quarterback was your third string quarterback, but now he's hurt. Your head coach is potentially on the hot seat. We all saw your GM say stupid ass shit on national television and should be on the hot seat. You traded away your best player, and amazingly enough, that hasn't worked. Don't know what the plan is. The O-line that you set out to rebuild rather than pay Saquon Barkley is a train wreck. Brian Burns is mediocre at best. Malik Neighbors has been good, but needs probably a competent quarterback to throw to him, and they can't really do that without an O-line. So, fucked. Chicago Bears. This is not a commentary on Caleb Williams. I want to be very clear on that. But you have now asked a man go from passing game coordinator to offensive coordinator to head coach in 3 weeks. And we're shocked it's not going well with a rookie quarterback. Do y'all know how to make business decisions? Like, I'm just curious.
Yeah, that one was definitely.
You've never had a good quarterback, and I think your goal this year was like, how can we fuck them up even more?
Yeah, we looked
Like,
at Justin Fields and went,
yeah,
can do
how
better.
can we make that situation worse? And that's what we did. So, congratulations. You're still a train wreck.
Yeah.
I have this next team in this category. I want everyone to stay calm. I have real reasons for this. This is still a this year tier list. The San Francisco 49ers have been maligned by injuries. I think we've seen some of the worst decisions this GM has made in recent years. We paid Ayuk, but still drafted a wide receiver when there were clear holes. We have $60 million a year set aside for Brock Purdy. This team is getting older. This team is getting more and more hurt. I'm not sure that there's a clear path forward. I think real changes need to be made. I think they're at a point of having to look at rebuilding and start dealing some pieces to bolster certain areas. And I'm concerned that we will be too stuck in the things we're doing to do that. Next, Las Vegas Raiders. You have no quarterback. I'm not convinced your head coach is going to be around next year.
Probably not.
And you traded away your best offensive weapon. Actually, both of them. You got rid of Josh Jacobs this year, and you traded Devontae Adams to a bad team. So, don't know the plan, don't know the path forward. Not sure you have one. I have heard Shedeur Sanders to Vegas. I know that was a popular theory. Good luck. Yep. Cleveland Browns are next. Look, I love Jameis Winston. I do. As a human being and as a presence in football. And I like that he plays for the Browns. Makes me happy. I think I'd be a little happier if he played for the Steelers, but I'm taking what I can get here. So, but no matter what you do, you still have Deshaun Watson's contract as a problem.
Yep.
So you're going to have a hard time bringing in a worth it quarterback to deal with that situation. So,
let's draft one.
Yeah. New York Jets. I mean, do I even have to say anything? Can we just understand that the New York Jets are fucked to all hell? Oh, and by the way, Woody Johnson did not get the ambassadorship. So he maintains control of the New York Jets. Good luck.
That's unfortunate for Jets fans out there.
Looking for a new GM, a new head coach, new offensive coordinator, new defensive coordinator,
new quarterback,
and probably new wide receivers because Devontae's not going to stay.
Yeah.
So there's that. Finally, in this category, Jacksonville Jaguars. One, they've been terrible all year. I also think any team getting ready to fire their head coach is probably fucked.
Yeah.
Maybe you bring in a better one. I think based off talent, I would probably put you in rebuilding depending on who you hired, and then we would see how that goes. I don't have a ton of faith in Trevor Lawrence. Obviously, he's hurt right now, but this is not working. So, currently, supremely fucked. Final category. Couldn't win if the NFL was rigged. I'm gonna leave the team that Brendan's all up in arms about till the end. so we can talk about it.
I don't know if I'm up in
First,
arms. It's just questionable decision making.
the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, no, that.
Um, I feel like the season went according to plan, but we didn't execute the plan. The plan was, I thought, to see what Mike McCarthy and Dak Prescott could do
Yeah,
with not an all-star roster.
yeah,
But instead, we paid Dak and we paid CD and we let Mike walk in with a lame duck contract, and then it went to shit.
yeah,
And we went, I don't know what the problem is.
yeah.
And then Mike McCarthy took the blame last week and said that he had more control than he's ever had, which was the stupidest fucking thing to say. Like, are you trying to kiss ass? Was this true? Is this real? I don't know, but everybody had blamed Jerry Jones. Everybody. So when you didn't get a new contract, you were probably going to get a new job. Now there are questions.
Yeah.
Now there are concerns. You've now
And also, just want to quickly talk about the end of that game because it's the most Cowboys loss on the planet.
Mm-hmm.
Cowboys Bengals. The next team on the list to spoil it is the Bengals.
Bengals.
Two teams that couldn't win it if it was rigged were trying very hard last night to
To
lose.
lose. To
Okay,
lose.
last 2 minutes, what I watch was the Bengals get a punt blocked in the last 2 minutes of the game. You have a punt blocked. The Cowboys proceed to try to recover that, hits a player, making it a live football and a muffed punt, and the Bengals recover. As a player, you cannot try to recover that football because when the Bengals touch it, it's downed
Yeah.
wherever the ball is. It's just it's down where it's at. You block the punt, you're gonna get it on the positive side of the 50. That's good. But you try to recover it, and the Bengals get the ball back. The Bengals proceed to score with a minute left on the clock when they could have just ran the whole timeout. I feel like the Cowboys special teams really wants to lose like
Yep.
every game.
Yeah.
It's
So I think what we're seeing, genuinely, is this level of we have nothing to lose, so fuck it. From the Cowboys. Of like, we have moments of like, oh yeah, we're playing good football. And then the end kind of comes. And special teams guys who don't see the field a whole ton, who don't get a ton of credit, go, you know what, this is my moment.
This
And
is
they try to do too much, and then you don't fuck it up. So, roster wise, it's a weak roster.
yeah,
Probably going to have a different head coach. I think Dak is a good quarterback, not a great quarterback. I think you're paying way too much money for a mediocre team.
yeah,
That's what I think. And you are mediocre. The NFC has been the weaker conference for a very long time. When the best you can do is lose in the first round of the playoffs every year, you are mediocre. I don't care that you go 12-5.
when you
NFC is not that hard.
when you can't beat the NFC, it's pretty bad.
Like,
Now the NFC
now
is
the NFC is worth
stacked,
a shit, and they're stacked, and the top is really good. So good luck.
yeah.
Now this is who you are, which is a bottom
And what's
of the
worse
stacked team.
is you have the three teams at the top: the Lions, Vikings, Eagles, according
Equals.
to our tier list.
Yeah.
You then look at the next and you have the Rams, the Packers,
Bucks.
the Seahawks, and the Buccaneers, all like right there.
Yeah.
You're gonna eventually.
You are like you're being left behind. You are being left behind of modern day football with an aging owner who likes to run his mouth. So
Yeah.
good luck. Next, like Brennan said, I do have the Bengals on. Can't win if it was ranked. I know they went to the Super Bowl. Guess what? This is about winning a Super Bowl. They did not win. They went, didn't win. Definitely can't do it now. Terrible team. Terrible team. Here's my problem. This came up this week on whether or not Joe Burrow should be in the MVP conversation. I understand he has had great stats.
I was going to say stats-wise, yes.
But those stats are meaningless.
Team
when
success,
you can't
no.
win. If you cannot will your team to a couple of these wins, you are not the most valuable player in the league, let alone on your team. The team clearly needs defensive players. If they got defensive players and then you started winning, I think the argument is those players are more valuable because without them, you lose. I have respect for Joe Burrow as a player. I think he's a good quarterback. A little overrated, but I think he's a good quarterback. But this team is what it is. And what it is an offense that can put up great stats, but when it comes down to the wire, often doesn't win, whether it's play call or execution. If you're confused by that, please watch my commentary on Ravens-Bengals games. And a defense that needs rebuilt. If you watched Hard Knocks, their first episode, that primary episode, that pilot, that's the word I'm looking for, pilot, of the in-season AFC North Hard Knocks, there was a very clear distinction on how each team spends its money. I understand that it's not the most important part. But when your facility is the shittiest, but you have come the closest to a Super Bowl in years, you have a problem. You do not put money into your team. We see that in their roster. They let several defensive players go. They let several offensive players go when they're not really paying anyone except Joe Burrow. Again, if the Philadelphia Eagles can pay everybody, the Bengals could pay a couple people. Their facility looks like shit. Looks like some D2 college facility. It was crazy. I'm not saying it has to be the Ravens. The Ravens clearly had the nicest. But the Steelers put effort in. Make sure their players are comfortable. Make sure that we have the tools we need to be a effective football team.
But the Steelers have never been the fanciest team ever.
No.
That's like the whole point of Steelers.
But they have Super Bowls.
Yeah. That's the point. But
they have the things they need. The fucking Bengals are using middle school desk chairs with a projector that you have to pull down. And whiteboards. My high school was nicer. Just so we're clear, my high school looked nicer than this fucking room. It was sad. It was sad. It was depressing. I was like, what the fuck is happening?
I haven't watched it yet. I need to.
I was Joe Burrow and I watched this show, I'd be like, why the fuck do the Ravens get that stuff? Why does everybody but me get some nice ass shit? And he's the only one of the four that's been to a Super Bowl.
Yeah. Well, no. Russell
Wilson. No, of those four. Yeah. Okay. Russell
did win with Seattle, but not with the Steelers.
Not with the Steelers. So it's like, what the fuck? It was hard to watch. I felt really bad for him. It was a little funny. I felt really bad for him. And it was, to me, just the epitome of this is who the Bengals are. And this is who the Bengals will always be. They will not spend money where they need to. And so this team will always have massive holes in it. So I do not think, at this point, you can win a Super Bowl. Especially as the AFC gets stronger. With CJ Stroud, Broncos, the Chargers, all these teams are climbing up.
And you still have the powerhouses, the Chiefs,
Yeah,
the Ravens,
the Ravens.
the Bills.
You have these other teams, so I just
The
think your window is
Bills.
closing. So the final team,
The Bills.
and couldn't win if it was rigged. The Buffalo Bills. I had them in this category the last time we did it.
Yeah, at the start of the season.
I still have them here. I watched the Bills play the Rams.
I will say.
I watched Josh Allen's incredible game. I am going to be perfectly honest with you. I was in awe.
So I have a. If they win that game, the MVP race is over.
Yes, I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. I think it's over. I think it's over. I don't think it matters that they lost. I think it's over.
I think if they win, it doesn't matter. It's over. I think because of the loss, there's still like a little question mark.
I don't know that Saquon's going to continue to eat, and I think Goff is just too quiet within his own offense.
I'm not saying, but I'm just saying, like.
But no, I absolutely get what you're saying. It was incredible to watch. It was crazy. He is the only quarterback ever to throw for 3 passing touchdowns and to run for 3 touchdowns. It was incredible. It was incredible.
It's a fun game to watch.
They lost that game
Yeah, no, it's
tells me everything I need to know about this. The fact that your quarterback can do that, one, I think means I talked about this. I do not understand considering yourself in a rebuilding year, which is what the Bills did, when you have a superstar at quarterback. Your goal for that quarterback should always be
Super Bowl.
Get him MVPs and get him Super Bowls because he will define your legacy. And that is how you will help define his. I understand making changes at wide receiver. There were problems. But you made massive cuts defensively.
And injuries.
That allowed the Rams to win despite Superman's performance.
Yeah.
This tells me, and it means I have real concerns about your priorities while Josh Allen is your quarterback. In the current market, in the current NFL, there are 4 truly elite quarterbacks that have a leg to stand on. Josh Allen is being left behind for no fault of his own.
Yeah, I don't know how.
But as the Bills are doing this to him, they got rolled by the Ravens this year. That did happen. He put up the most incredible game of a quarterback ever and lost
Because
to a team with a losing record.
And I have a take. I think this loss is really on McDermott.
I don't disagree with that at all.
That play call at the end of the game to run a QB sneak was probably the dumbest play call of the entire season.
I think Josh Allen is a good quarterback. He's a great quarterback. I have said I think he's overrated sometimes. I think sometimes he gets a little more credit than deserves. However, that is impossible to argue with.
Yeah, that.
And what he has done with this team on its back is impossible to argue with. He is playing really well. But this team is not supporting him. Just like I think the team is not supporting Joe Burrow. I do not have them in this category because of the quarterback or because I think of what the quarterback is lacking. You have shown me organizationally your priorities are fucked up. And your priorities will hinder these quarterbacks from getting Super Bowls and potentially getting MVPs. That's why they're here. If it were based off quarterback ranking, I can assure you Josh Allen would be at the top.
Yeah,
It's not. When I put teams here, this is not just roster, this is not just capability. This is from an organizational standpoint. The Buffalo Bills and the Cincinnati Bengals have shown me they do not give a rat's ass. Their goal is to let their superstar quarterback be a superstar, and that's it. But Allen and Burrow is quickly becoming Dan Marino. He will always get credit for going the one time, and that's it. He was a great quarterback that went to the Super Bowl and lost. Joe Burrow can't sit at the table right now. Mahomes has Super Bowls and MVPs. Lamar has MVPs. Joe Burrow has a Super Bowl appearance. Josh Allen's being left behind. This team has to make his success a priority, and they're not doing it. And that was very clear the other night.
Yeah. On the bright side, Allen will definitely at this point win MVP, despite the loss.
I think so. I would be really shocked if he didn't.
I just don't think there's anybody to give it to.
I
Because Lamar's
I
not
am
going to win his division.
No. I'm concerned the push for Jalen is a little too high. Or not Jalen. I'm sorry, Saquon. We'll see what he does. We'll see what he does the rest of the season. I do think Goff's out of it. I think Goff's stats are good. They're not great. Like, he's first in a lot of categories, but he does very little for that team.
The issue with Goff is you can't point to Goff and go, he's the reason they win.
Yeah. Like, it's a schematic thing.
It's Dan Campbell is the best coach at football.
So, but quarterback legacies are built off MVPs and Super Bowls, and you're trying very hard to fuck this man.
Well,
so I'm like, stay with me here, because I know it sounds crazy.
It's not as crazy as it sounds, but
they were there. I had them in an actual contender, and then that game, and I went, never mind.
It's not as crazy, but it is still like, damn. I still think they are a contender. Despite losing that game, despite I do still think they are a contender.
So here's my current...
For this, it's hard.
I'm not sure who they're going to get through this year to be in the Super Bowl, based off what I've seen.
It depends. I think they fall into the case of they can beat any team any given Sunday. It's just whether or not
they will.
The defense shows up.
Yeah. So and based off what I've currently seen, it's just not. There are real problems on that team, and I think it starts with the top.
All right. Fair enough.
We haven't made improvements. And when I know what happened in previous years, I am hesitant to think it will be different.
Yeah.
So, all right, guys, that is my NFL team tiers. Up until this point, I'll probably do another one next year when we roll into the season, but that is going to cover it for now. Comment, let me know what you think. Anything you agree, disagree, love to hear from you. And we're going to move on to the WNBA a little bit of news. Their newest expansion team, the Golden State Valkyries, which I love, by the way. Really big fan of the name. Really big fan of the color scheme. Don't love the logo. Feel like we missed an opportunity there. Felt this way about the Kraken when they launched.
I love the Kraken's logo.
Um, the Valkyries. It's basically a triangle,
I'm looking it
a
up.
purple triangle. Just felt like we missed the mark a little bit there. I guess we'll see. But big fan of the name, big fan of the color scheme. They had held their expansion draft
Oh yeah.
last week, and that was really exciting. I think the biggest name on it was Kate Thornton from the Aces was not protected, and they picked her up. She's kind of their most seasoned veteran that they picked up. She's a very big contributor, so hopefully an impactful player for this team. It was a little surprising. They went mostly veteran players. They also went heavy international. They didn't quite go as young as everyone thought they were going to. I think this team wants to head into the season being a contender and fighting for a playoff spot, not in rebuilding mode, even though they are starting from scratch. Um, so just some interesting things there. But
I don't like their logo.
that's what I said, bro. I'm not a
It's
fan.
not it's not good. Their
I
color
feel like
scheme's
you
pretty
had
nice.
real options with the name. Like, I'm a real fan of the name. Don't love the logo.
I think you played too much into the fact that you're from Golden State in the logo.
Yeah, and not enough into the Valkyrie part. That
Yeah.
would have been way would have preferred that. Would have preferred that. Um. Oh fuck! I fucked that up. Um. Kayla. Um. Kate Martin. No. What's the name?
It's
You're gonna
Kayla
have to
Thor. It's Kayla
Kayla
Thornton
Thornton
and
and Kate
Kate.
Martin.
Yes.
And I was talking about Kayla Thornton. Fucked it up. I'm sorry, you guys.
Just call her an idiot in the comment section. It's fine.
That's okay. I'll get over it. I fuck him. We're lucky I don't fuck up his name more often. Like, honestly, that's just my life. That's who I am. This is what I do. Um. So yeah, excited. I was kind of looking for. I'm still looking for a WNBA team. Potentially, if they had a better logo, they would have hooked me. But I'm a big fan of the name. Big fan. So, and I like purple. Clearly. So, we'll see what they do. But it'll be exciting. They have the um 5th, 17th, and 30th draft picks going into this next year's WNBA draft. So we'll see how they continue to build. But they did finish their expansion draft.
Nice.
So that kind of does it for WNBA. Obviously, we talked college football, talked some NFL.
Yeah.
I think it's been a pretty good episode. Do we want to look ahead to next week, Brennan?
Yeah. Let's do it. All right. I guess I'll start us off.
Alrighty.
Seattle is playing the Packers on Sunday Night Football. Should be a fantastic game in Seattle. Two really good teams in the NFC.
We are not going to be able to watch it live. We are going to be out to dinner.
We will be. Yeah. No. Fuck.
Yep. Can't reschedule. I've been waiting for this dinner.
Yeah. Nope. God damn it. And it's nice enough. It's a nice enough dinner that I can't just like.
Yeah, you can't not go. Come on, bro. Not that.
No,
restaurant.
I meant like have it on my phone.
Oh no.
That's what I was saying. It's a nice enough dinner that I can't just
Yeah.
have it on my phone and watch it.
We could have it like on our leg. Like you just sit next to me and we'll just have it like under the table and be like, you know what I mean?
Maybe.
We'll figure something out. Yeah,
But,
that just occurred to me that we're not gonna be able to watch it live.
Okay, well, it's gonna be a really good game. Two really good NFC teams. Seattle does need this win. I think this will be a real test. I'll talk a lot more about this game come my preview. Also, want to apologize that I didn't get a preview out this most recent one. I was having terrible Wi-Fi issues. Couldn't even do one if I tried. My bad. Didn't get one in. Is what it is. But we'll definitely have one this week. And Sunday Night Football, so that's fun. And then my game of the week, I was between two of them. I probably will focus on the other one as well. But I got Bears at Vikings. Monday Night Football. They're the first game in the Monday Night Football of the two. So they are at 5 p.m. I'm going with this one because Seattle plays the Vikings next, and then the Bears following that. So I kind of get two birds, one stone in a way. So this should be It's just kind of a game I'm focused on to see what the Vikings are going to do, and I kind of see what the Bears are, even though we kind of know what the Bears are. It is something I'll be kind of paying attention to for that. And then the other game I'm going to pay attention to is the Rams 49ers. It pains me greatly to say this, but the 49ers need to win for Seattle's hope on winning the division. So we'll see, but that's really what I'm looking at this week.
Nice. All right. Well, I got Baltimore at New York Giants. 10 a.m. Sunday, a game that's happening that I'll watch, fortunately. Obviously I'll talk more about it in my preview video, but we'll see how they do coming back from the bye. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, they're coming back from the bye.
Yeah. Also the game I'm gonna watch is Pittsburgh at Philly, at 1:25 p.m. I know I focused a lot on both of these teams, but the Ravens do play Pittsburgh next. And I think given how the Ravens game against the Pittsburgh Steelers went and how the Ravens game against the Eagles went, I do want to see kind of how this shapes out, how Pittsburgh is playing going into that following matchup. So, and it is mathematically still possible for the Ravens to win the division. Saying it's likely, I'm not saying they're going to, but mathematically it is still possible. So it all does depend on what both Baltimore and Pittsburgh do. So that's why I'm watching this. I really don't give a shit what the Bengals and the Browns do at this point.
Yeah.
Does not matter. Can't help anybody anyway.
No, they couldn't.
So
it's unfortunate.
Yep. The only thing I think that the Cincinnati can do that helps me is beat Pittsburgh.
Maybe they will.
I sincerely doubt it.
It's possible. It's a division game. The Browns beat them already. Who knows? Who knows? It's not likely, but
Joe Burrow is terrible against the division. It's not his strong suit, even when he has a competent defense.
Yeah, well, it's still possible. Not likely, but possible.
It's possible. It is possible. So yeah, gonna watch those two, see just how it continues to shake out. To be perfectly honest with you, though, not entirely sure I want Baltimore to win the division.
Okay.
I would really like to play Texas. First game. I would really like to play Texas.
Because you do know who you'd probably end up playing if you didn't won the division, right?
Yeah. So I would really like to play Texas.
Are you sure you don't want to play them a third time that quickly?
Nope.
How sure?
100%.
Okay.
So, yeah. Would really like to play Texas.
Well, that's good.
But I'll never say no to winning the division. I'm not rooting for it right now.
Fair enough. I very much want Seattle to win the division.
That's fair. That's fair.
It's about the best case scenario I can think of for the season.
You're in a wild card spot right now, aren't you?
We are winning division currently.
In the playoffs? Oh, okay.
Currently, we are leading the division. Okay, yeah, the Seahawks are 8-5. In a pretty good spot there. I will say in our division, the Cardinals are 6-7, the 49ers are 6-7, and the Rams are 7-6. The one issue is we play the Rams week 18, and the Rams currently hold the tiebreaker above us because they beat us earlier in the year. So Seattle has to win out. And even then, they could still end up losing the division on tiebreakers to the Rams. So, hence, need the 49ers to beat the Rams. If Seattle doesn't beat the Rams themselves.
Sure.
So, that's where that is. So, yeah, Seattle is currently winning the division at 8-5. The Cardinals are pretty much out of it. The 49ers are pretty much out of it. It's pretty much just
You and the Rams.
the Rams who refuse to go quietly.
Yeah.
And not happy about it. I would like them to just disappear.
Go away. Yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair.
And they
I
refuse
feel
to.
that way.
I kind of thought they would
Yep,
after the
pretty much
Bills
my
game,
entirety.
but the Bills decided to choke.
Nope.
I was not happy. I was not happy watching that game. It was a good game, fun game to watch.
It was a great game. It's a
But
great game.
I was not happy that the Bills decided that they weren't going to win.
That's fair.
That's really where I was at.
That's fair.
But it is what it is.
Alrighty. Well, do you have anything else for this week?
I don't think I do.
Awesome. It's been a good week.
Yeah.
Covered a lot.
Did a lot this week.
Some solid football.
Did a lot.
Talked some WNBA. It was crazy.
Yeah, talked college, talked everything.
Talked Heisman. Playoffs.
All fun shit.
And then obviously as we get narrowed down.
We'll talk more college football as it goes.
And as we head into playoffs of the NFL, it will get a little tighter. We won't have to talk about some of these useless ass teams.
The Giants.
Except for who they fire and who they don't.
Yeah.
Talk about that.
But yeah, I do think that just does it for us here today. Remember, like, subscribe, comment. Thank you to Ravens fan 5299 for the comment asking Dallas the keys coming out of the Ravens bye. So yeah, keep throwing comments down, keep answering them, keep doing it. Seahawks fans, where are we at? Let's show up. Let's do something. Ask me a question. Yeah, that being said, I've been Brendan.
And I've been Dallas.
See ya.
Bye.